Hi guys, and welcome back to episode 1 of my Working Resources Server Republic tutorial guide. So, I've covered an introduction video where I talk about what I'm going to cover in this series, as well as the very basics of this game, such as the difference between the currencies and where you should roughly spawn. But I also cover, importantly, how I'm going to do this series. So, starting off with this episode 1, I'm just going to show you the very basics of getting started. So what I mean by that is getting your first houses down to get your workers in, and covering all your basic needs for the workers, such as food and clothes, power, and entertainment and sports as well. So let's get straight into it. Okay guys, so I've opened my minimap down here and I have taken myself to this area. So I've already covered in the other video that the closer you are to a border, the less you have to pay for resources, so building costs. So we've gone right to the Soviet Union border, and I picked out this spot here. It's nice and flat, but also it has a power export and import transformer, and it has a nice big station. So this is the perfect start for me. And this is on the flatland maps, so you can get to this exact spot as well. If we look here, we've got our different resources, so you can see we're not close to any resources really, but with the iron patch just there, we could try and develop that later on. How I'm going to show you in this episode is I'm going to build what I would do, or at least something to help you guys understand how the game works, and then once I've built it, I will explain everything that is going on. So I will show a speedrun of me building it, and then I'll do that. So let's get started with this. Okay guys, so I've built a little basic housing complex over here. So what I've done is I've built a road coming from the border, stretching down here, because the border is where we will be exporting our goods, and that's more on that later, but we still need a road connection with that. I've also built this railroad here. This is not necessary at all, but all I'm doing is I'm guaranteeing I have a railroad connection, because if I didn't do that, I would easily, in the future, block all of this off and would not be able to get a railroad connection. So this is just a future connection, allowing me to build that out if I want to. What I've then done is I've built the asphalt roads down with a bus stop in the middle, and I've built some houses facing away from the bus stop, so the pathways lead to the bus stop road. This means that these houses have very quick access to the bus stop. I've then built 2 football playgrounds, because the football playgrounds, if we come to equipment for citizens, the football playgrounds have a large amount of visitors relative to the tennis playground. The houses I built are the flats prefabs, and these are the biggest houses in the game. They're not necessarily the most efficient, but I like building them just because if you're playing in cosmonaut mode, or just the hardcore do-it-yourself mode, they are only made out of the prefab slabs really, so they're quite easy to make. But also I just like how they look. So I've got them down, and this is very basic, but it works as getting our houses down. Everybody can reach the bus stop, so when we build an industrial area, people can get a bus route, and everybody should have access to the more auxiliary buildings surrounding. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do with a footpath. So in Works and Resources, people need to walk around to their jobs. So if they come from the bus stop, they need to have access to the job. If they're in a house, they need access to the bus stop or to the grocery store or whatever. And the footpaths are how they do this. So these little pedestrian signs are where we can build a footpath entrance or exit from. People can't walk through buildings though. So unless they're already coming from that building, you can't have a footpath connection that goes through a building. So we need to build like external footpaths. So I'm going to show you quickly now before I go back into sped up mode. We build something like this. This connects everywhere. So people on this road can't go through this house, but now they can actually walk on this footpath and get to where they need to go. So leaving space and gaps between your buildings and then town centres for footpaths is really important. So I'm going to speed this up and I'm going to get all my footpaths lane. Okay guys, so that is all the footpaths all laid out. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to speed the game back up. We're going to let all of that auto build. And this is why you want to pause the game. I didn't mention this at the start, but hopefully if you haven't started already, pause the game when you start, because once it's paused, you can delete buildings without having to pay for them. Otherwise, you will have to pay for all of them, and that can cost you a lot of money. Here we go, just putting in the last of them. There we go. So now we've got all our footpaths laid and all our entrances and exits connected. If we click on a building now and we hover over this view building that can be reached on foot, you can see very easily all the buildings in this range can be accessed. So once we put more auxiliary buildings around, such as the grocery store, well in this case actually the supermarket, but I'll get to that, and we put more houses and the hospital, these can all easily be reached on foot. You do need to watch out for this. Once buildings can't be reached on foot, for example, maybe a school is too far away, you will need to be more that can be reached on foot. Otherwise, just your people can't get there. You need to set up some sort of bus route or a better footpath. So we've got our people in our small town. Now we need to fulfill their basic needs. So I'm going to start off the most important being food, meat and clothes. So you've got the small store and the grocery store. Combine them into one and you have the shopping centre. Shopping centre is absolutely huge. So we're not going to build that. We're going to build the small shopping centre, which can house quite a lot of people. I'd say about 3,000 to 4,000 people it can comfortably handle if you have all the staff working there. So I'm going to place this down. I want to again place it down in range. So I'm going to place it down here and make sure it's got good footpath connection, but it should be in good enough range that everybody should be able to get to it. If we look, it will say nobody can reach it because we haven't built this road connection. So let's get that down. And then, yeah, everybody can reach it. But it is at a bit of a push. And you can see here the reason it's at a push is because they're having to walk all the way around here to get to this house. So we need to get slightly better footpaths. There we go. We've shortened that distance from 350 meters down to 241. So things have been shortened now. So I didn't mention this in the introduction, but how I'm going to be doing my tutorial series is I'm going to be doing it as a mix between a City Skylines approach, which is you auto build everything, and the hardcore approach, which is you do everything yourself. So I am going to auto build and show you guys how you do it that way, but I am going to set up logistical supplies, so our buildings do need to be supplied manually. Okay, so what I've done now is I've got the shopping centre down. Next to the shopping centre, I've built a road cargo station by going to infrastructure, roads, and then down here, the road cargo station. So what this allows is 4 trucks to station here and drop off goods. This little road here is a connection, a factory connection, and we'll get more into this later when I cover the industry. But this factory connection will mean anything dropped off here will be delivered into this station, well, this shopping station. As you can see here with this shopping station, there's a little purchasing sign up here showing we're buying, auto-buying, goods to be sold here. I don't want to do that. You can do that. For me, that takes a bit of fun out of the game, which is managing the trucks, carrying all the goods to make sure you're supplying your shops and your fuel stations and all of that. So again, if you want to get it easy and you just want to get used to the game, you don't need to follow this next bit, but I would advise you do. So click purchase resource using rubles, and we're going to untick, well, minus all of these. So now nothing is going to be purchased, and if we want to sell goods from here, we need to actually supply the shopping centre ourselves, which is again why I built this road cargo station. So I'm going to cover that next episode, but this is ready for then. I've also built a kindergarten here. So a kindergarten doesn't teach your students, it simply looks after the younger children, freeing up the parents, letting the parents get jobs. So if you don't supply enough kindergartens, you will find that you'll have a lot of parents unable to work, and obviously more workers means you can produce more to sell more. So we do want kindergartens, and you'll find you need to build quite a lot of these. Over here I've built a cinema, and the cinema is a very big building that can supply a lot of people, so I put it right in the centre here, so when we build more houses all around, it will cover hopefully a large area. Cinema just provides entertainment. And then finally, which I'm going to get done now, is the school. So the school actually teaches students, and it gives them basic education, which allows them to work more jobs. So just going to connect that with a footpath here. And finally, over here, I've built a substation, and I've connected the substation with medium voltage wires. We're going to infrastructure, medium voltage wires, a substation over here, and connected that up to the transformer. So what I want you to do now is click on the transformer, and as this is connected to the border, we can see we can export or import power. So we're going to import, so make sure you've got that selected, and we're going to put it all the way to 100%. This doesn't mean we will buy 100% at the moment, it just simply means we're happy to buy 100%, 18 megawatts if needed. So if we unpause, we can now see we're importing 109 kilovolts, well, 0.03 megawatts of power per day, and that's costing us, at this going rate, which is 0.98 rubles per megawatt hour. So we've now got power, and if we click on these buildings, yeah, power is no longer an issue. So we've got power sorted, we've got a kindergarten sorted, we've got some workers there, we've covered sport, we've got a school on the way, a cinema on the way, and this shop now just needs to be supplied with food. So I've covered everything in this episode I wanted to cover. We've now got everything we need to. In the next episode, I'm going to cover distribution, so we can actually get this shopping centre up and running, and I'm going to get basic manufacturing jobs set up so we can provide jobs for our workers, and then hopefully we can get on to exporting goods. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode and you found it useful. If you did, please watch my other videos, because these are going to go into more detail and more advanced stuff so you can learn more about the game. And if you have found this video useful, please give it a like and subscribe so you can see more workers and resources content, which I'd love to upload for you guys. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in episode 2.